Let's go to our first guest of the day. I've wanted to have this man on the program for quite some time, and it's about time we have him on. He is killing it over in Dallas, Texas. He is the founder and owner of Fortis MMA. He's the head coach over there. He's the great Sayif Saud. I went through the lineup. If you want to hear it again, here's some of the notables that train out of that gym. Diego Ferreira, Steven Peterson, Alex Morono, Ryan Spahn, Jeff Neal, Miles Johns, Charles Bird, Alonzo Menefield, Kennedy Nzechukwu, Macy Chezo, Uriah Hall, and on it goes. There he is, Sayif Saud, making his debut on the program. Sayif, how are you, my friend?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Congratulations on a great year, and congratulations on all the success that the team and the gym has had. Let's take a step back. Let's have a bit of a history lesson here for those that may have heard us talk about the team and the gym, but may not know, the real history. When did Fortis MMA start?
Well, I started Fortis in 2017. I had been coaching for 10 years at another gym, really built up, a lot of experience, ups and downs like everybody else, but everything just kind of came together perfectly. And it's been a great ride. Not a very long ride, but a very fruitful one.
And you also were a pro fighter, right? I believe you were 3-0.
Yes, that's correct. I was 3-0, trained at Jackson's for 3 years, lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico with the aforementioned Donald Cerrone and crew, and punch each other in the face every day, and learned so much from Greg Jackson, and Mike Van Arsdale was my wrestling coach, and on, and gleaned tons of experience from that, and it's helped me tremendously in coaching.
Why'd you stop after 3 fights?
I tore my bicep.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
Here.
Holy smokes!
Gnarly. Tore my ACL, tore my meniscus. I mean, it just kept going and going. So at 28, I just knew that my body just wasn't gonna maintain itself, and my whole goal was to get to be 5-0, and then just fight once in the UFC, go to that level, and achieve that, and then open a gym. My lifelong dream has always been to open a gym. I've been teaching my whole life. My dad owns a dojo. My brother's a PhD. I just think that's kind of our family's thing. So I'm just kind of trying to carry the tradition on.
By the way, didn't you recently tear your bicep as well? Was it the same one?
No, that was that was actually my lat. So
Oh,
I mean, I've had so many injuries. My body just, look, I always tell people durability is a skill that you can't train for, and durability is not a skill that I had. I mean, every fighter likes to remember themselves as being so great. I was pretty good. You fight 10 fights, especially in the UFC, you're gonna lose one. So I'll be proud of that 3-0 record, and I got what I needed from it, the experience to coach, and I think understand what it's like to walk to that cage and hear that door lock and all the emotions that go with that, and that's really what I'm grateful for now.
and by the way, where's your family from? Where's that name from?
So I'm Iraqi. I'm Iraqi and a little bit of Persian in there too. So that's why my wrestling is so good. I've got that Middle Eastern background, got those good hips.
I respect it.
Um, yeah.
And why did you open the gym in Dallas?
Well, I came to Dallas after I got hurt. I had to try to figure out how I was going to make money. I didn't know how I was going to make money, and I was with my wife. We didn't have kids yet, and I had a bunch of sponsors here in town, and I knew that I could at least come and train them. And what happened was one of them wanted to do some jujitsu, so he asked me to go to a local gym that had just opened up, and I walked in, and the owner just got lucky. Really said, "Hey, do you have any MMA experience?" And I said, "Well, I just left, the best camp in the world. It was definitely the best camp in the world then, and it's still a great camp." And I said, "Sure." And so he said, "I can't pay you, but if you can build a program up, well, then we can start there." So it started 1 day a week, and then 3, and then 5, and then one thing led to another. And 10 years later, we are here now with 15 fighters in the UFC and an 18-5 record in 2019.
And why Fortis? What does that mean?
So I wanted a name that meant something. I'm not big on naming stuff after myself. I think it's a little egotistical personally. It's just kind of not just kind of weird to me. I don't know. I get it. I mean, people are proud of their name or they want to brand it or whatever, but I wanted something that meant something. And fortis in Latin, it means courageous and strength. Fortitude comes from that word fortis, that root Latin word. So, and it's clean, it's simple. I wanted something that was clean and simple and that could be said easily, and was, the logo too. I put some work into, so it turned out really well.
And one of your partners is former NBA great Deron Williams, correct?
Correct.
How did you link
Correct.
up with him?
I started training Darren about 4 years ago when he was still playing, and Darren loves MMA, and I mean the guy knows MMA in and out. People always say, I'm an MMA fan. I mean, Darren, he amazed me with his just his such an intelligent guy, and he amazed me with just his passion for the game and understanding it, and man, he honestly can really fight too, and maybe we'll get him in there one day. I don't know yet, but when he came to me and said, "Hey, I want in on this thing," I was happy to do it because he really is a guy that loves MMA and that train, and we'd go up there and roll every day and train every day, and you want to have partners that have passion, and Darren has that passion for the sport, and he's been such a great partner, and he's a dear friend as well. So it's been fantastic.
I remember prior to UFC 211 in Dallas, I believe the gym had just opened. You had a lot of the media there for like an open workout session, and because Rashad Coulter was about to fight, and we got to check out the gym, and you showed us the gym. That's kind of when it opened, like a couple of years ago, correct?
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
We had been open for probably about 4 months.
Okay.
We had no fighters in the UFC, and Rashad had that slobber knocker with Chase Sherman, got
Right.
fight of the night, and it was in Dallas, and it was great. All of our students win, and it's crazy to think about. That was only a few years ago, but everybody's been on the grind and everybody's been moving, and just like anything else, 10 years of work, and it's starting to show the surface now. So I'm just really happy for all these athletes that have been putting in that grind for the last 6 or 7 years and now starting to get the spotlight.
So my question is, when did you start to feel like you guys were onto something here with this team, when you guys were turning the corner? Because now this is one of the great stories of 2019. You guys have emerged as one of the up-and-coming gyms, one of the up-and-coming camps. You're getting a lot of attention. When did you start to feel, was it a moment? Was it a fight? Was it a sequence of events where you start to feel like, all right, we're actually onto something here?
Yeah, I try not to immerse myself in that type of thought process, Ariel, just because as a coach and a leader, I always got to have my eyes down the road. I mean, we've had a lot of big moments this year, um, but I think that overall, having guys like Uriah Hall, guys that have been all over the world wanting to come and train here and saying, "Hey, this is the best camp I've ever been to. You guys have so many things, that I've never experienced." I mean, that those are huge compliments. And so I think that probably towards the end of this year, things have really kind of kicked in, and realizing that we are looked at as one of the major camps, and it's definitely a dream come true.
And so now you have this momentum, and people are talking about you, and perhaps there's, I don't want to say a bullseye, but like you're not the little engine that could anymore. You guys are actually, you're a force. Right? Or am I wrong? Do you feel otherwise? Do you still feel
No,
like you're
no,
that?
no, that's great. I mean, I've always felt that. I think that the thing that makes the gym special is these guys are all so determined, and they're kind of rising up together, right? They're
Right.
not one individual, but the whole team is becoming one of the biggest teams in the world and one of the best, and has the best record in the UFC. So it's kind of a cool thing to watch everybody do it together. It's just a little bit of a different feel than watching one person ascend, to a high level while others fall. It's just been super unique, and a blessing that is something that we don't take for granted. Every day we're going in there and working, and we're taking no days off, and we got a long way to go until we win a belt or a few. There's really nothing to say, right? There's more can always be done, and that's what we're trying to do.
Are you sensing that kind of pride, that togetherness from the team? Do you hear guys talking about that as opposed to, as you said, like one guy emerging and maybe bringing the team along with them? Are you like, after the Monday after a big fight, do you sense a bit of a pep in the step? Are people getting together to watch the fights? Does it feel like an actual team to you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that the team has a certain mindset, and to be honest, it's just a winning culture. And right now, winning is the expectation, and everybody's pushing each other. You know how it is. I mean, we've had multiple streaks. We were 16-4 last year, and 18-5 this year. So I mean, you don't want to be one of the people that's dropping one of those fights, and it's okay. It happens in this game. It's very volatile, but it's kind of a group effort. No one wants to drop the ball, And that's how winning happens. You create that culture and it's an expectation. So I think that's really what I've seen out of the team more than anything, is that expectation of winning, not only for themselves but for each other. And sure enough, it starts to happen. Just like you were talking, just like your Buffalo Bills.
That's
If a
right,
team
baby.
wins enough, if a team wins enough, right? That's their expectation. It's not an expectation for them to oh, hey, wow, we won. The expectation is to win. And now what's the next expectation? The playoffs. And then hey, AFC Championship. Let's not get carried away. But you know exactly what I'm talking about.
That's right. That's right. Now, one thing that I love about watching events at home as opposed to actually being there, it's a great privilege to be there. But when you're at home, one of the best parts is you can hear the dialogue in between rounds. And honestly, I'm not just saying it because you're here. I think you're one of the best at knowing who you're talking to, motivating that particular fighter, saying the right thing. Sometimes you listen to the corners, you're like, that's it? Like, I know you only have a minute in there, but like, I mean, I feel like you can offer something. Could you tell us where you developed that style, where you got your voice from? Is it from other coaches that you had? Did you develop this over time? Because really, I urge people to go back through Fight Pass or ESPN Plus and look at how you work the corner. It's really impressive in between those rounds.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, that's a huge compliment. It's probably the biggest compliment you can pay a coach. I think it's the most important job of a coach is how do you get your athlete through that war? I mean, it doesn't matter how hard you've trained and how much work you've put in. And we all know everyone works hard. No one just shows up at the UFC, contracted fire at the UFC and hasn't worked hard. But how do you guide them through that war and get them the desired result so they can move their chips forward, right? So they can continue to grow as an athlete, make more money, on and on and on, get another contract. So I take it very seriously, and I think that honestly, I think that having all these athletes homegrown, we've been through so much together. I mean, we just have real conversations. If you're sucking, man, and you're about to lose, I'm going to let you know. If you're doing great, hey, I'm going to let you know. But you've got 60 seconds there to communicate and be effective. And I think it's just sometimes saying the things that nobody wants to say. People give me a lot of credit sometimes, but I just say it like it is. I mean, if that's a skill, maybe that's it. But that goes a long way. And fighting isn't a game, right? It's not something where you can be sensitive, especially in the corner. Like, hey, how you feeling? Hey, blah blah blah. Like, that's not my deal. I like to be real specific, give specific instructions, go back on the game plan, and if somebody's not doing something right, you need to let them know. And lots of people are motivated, um, by direction. Very direct. Hey, get this done. Do this. Do that. A lot of fighters are motivated by that. Some are not, as you alluded to. Some you need to come at them in a different way. But I try not to ask questions. I'll reinforce things, but you know they need to know that you're the leader. They need to know that you know how to get them to win. And sometimes, man, it comes down to that. It's a 5 or 10% game in there, and if you can be that 5 or 10%, you need to get it done. So I appreciate that compliment. It's a big one, and it's something that I do take very seriously.
One thing that we've been talking about a lot this year, and I think it's one of the main differences between MMA and boxing, it's that in boxing there seems to be this culture where it's okay to quote unquote throw in the towel. There's a couple of notable examples in MMA. Trevor Whitman has been a part of a couple of them where
Great coach.
he just
Great
talks
coach.
to the fighter and he's like, we can't do this. We need to stop.
We can't
Have
do
you
this.
ever been in that position, and how difficult is that position to be in?
I've been in it one time, um, and it was actually an LFA, and I had the towel in my hand, and it's the only time I've ever had it in my hand, and it was very difficult, very difficult. And the fighter that won ended up going to the UFC. He's a world champion, a great fighter, a great guy. And I had a young kid in there who beat him in the first round, but this guy's a BJJ world champion. And he got him on the ground and he had him mounted, and he was. I'll never forget those elbows he was dropping on him. I mean, his head had nowhere to go. He was against the fence, and he had taken some damage, but not a lot. But I knew he wasn't going to get out. I knew it. I knew he wasn't going to get out, and that's when I grabbed the towel because what's the point? I mean, what I've done with some other fighters who get hit a lot, and they know who they are. I've told them, I said, if you go in there and you getting hit a lot and you keep on bleeding and doing all this and all that, I said, make no mistake about it. I said, I'll throw in the towel. I said, I'm huge on damage. I love MMA. Hey, it's great. I care a lot more about my kids than I care about a fight. And I tell them that, don't act like this is the biggest deal in the world. This is what we're all doing right now, but this isn't forever. So I've warned people before, hey, if you take a lot of damage, I'm going to throw in the towel. And it never came to fruition. And you never want people to doubt your fighters to doubt your faith in them. But again, it goes back to communicating effectively and being honest. So I haven't had to do it yet, but you're damn straight I'll do it. And to call it heroic, Trevor Whitman's just an awesome coach.
Yeah.
You listen to him when he does the commentating. He's so great because he never insults anybody.
Yes.
To your point, right?
Yeah.
Someone will go in there and be like, I don't know what the hell to do. Hit him, hit him with an elbow. And Trevor's like, well, I wouldn't go say it that way. But what? Instead of being like, what the hell are you talking about? That's terrible coaching. He never does that. So he's a great example of that. But I don't even know if you should get credit for it. It's your job. You're the coach. You're the boss. And I don't care who else is in the corner. You're running that corner. That's why it says who's the chief second. That's you, and you got to make those decisions. And I never try to judge other coaches because this is a hard game. And I've been asked to comment on certain situations, and I've said no comment, and I'll continue to do that and just talk about what I would do.
Now, I was very jealous of the fact that a couple of weeks ago on your Instagram, I saw that you were hanging with my guy, Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn, stolen from us in Dallas. I know he's a big MMA fan. Did you actually train with him? What happened here? Tell us. Look how huge he is.
Kristaps is in season, Ariel, so we're gonna just leave that.
Okay.
A little bit. We'll say that he did some basketball exercises and maybe a little shadow boxing, but let me tell you something. This guy's a huge MMA fan. He's a huge Ariel Helwani fan.
Oh.
And
what?
He said that's my guy. I DM him. I talked to him. I said, yeah, he's what a great guy. And me and him made a bet. He knows what the bet is.
Oh.
We made a bet this season. And when I started training him, they were 7-5. And I told him, I said, our MMA record is 18-5. I said, you guys need to get your record to 18-5. Well, since then they're 13-6, and they just smashed the Lakers last night.
Yep.
So I send him these little clips that I see on ESPN, him getting an alley-oop from Luka or whatever, and we have a cool little banter going on. But what a great dude, and 7'3" and a strong guy. I can tell you that he's a strong, coordinated guy. Great dude.
I'd love to see him use that reach in there. I mean, that would be incredible. Now let's.
He's got that reach.
He does. Shall we address the elephant in the room? You and your fighters, some of them are mad at me because I didn't put you on my list, the short list, the very, very short list. I was just talking about a specific thing with Eric and Eugene Behrman, Eric Albarracin, and you guys were mad that I didn't include you. Do you feel like I'm not being fair here by including you? I'll tell you the reasons once again. They have multiple UFC champions. You noted this, right? Am I being unfair? Tell me why. I'll take it. I'm a man. Am I being unfair?
Here's the thing. For a coach to lobby for his own award,
yes,
it's kind of classless. You know what I mean? You don't see Bill Belichick out there going, hey, you know what? I'm the best coach. Like, it's just kind of classless. What I will say is that I don't know any other team that's won that many fights in 2 years, and I don't know any other team that has 15 fighters that all from zero to the UFC. I don't know that other team that has those kind of win streaks. Jeff Neal, 4-0, first welterweight. Carlos Diego, 5-0, fighting Anthony Pettis. Ryan Spann, 3-0. Alonzo Minifield. I mean, Ryan Spann's fighting. It's 3-0, fighting OSP, this will be his 21st MMA fight. So it does go back to titles, though. I get it. And yeah, look, you got to do your best, and you got to cover what people want to hear about. I always tell people this. Nobody cares. If you're not a star, nobody cares. Hell, there's people that don't give a shit about hearing me right now. Nobody cares, and that's fine. So what do I tell them? Win a belt, and then defend it, and then defend it again, and then defend it again. And guess what? People are going to start caring. There's nothing you can say about guys like John Jones. He's been there, man, and you've got to give these guys their respect who win the belt. It's such a hard thing. So, look, I'm never going to talk about any other coach. I'm never going to talk about any other team. I don't feel like I need to lobby. I feel like stats are great. And hopefully I get the nose award at the end of the year.
Well, you guys are killing it. You don't need my award. You're killing it. The numbers speak for themselves. 18-5.
We want the nose award.
I feel you.
We want the nose award.
I feel you. Well,
it's important to us.
All right, fair enough. Well, you got a big one coming up on December 14th, Jeff Neal against Mike Perry. It seems like almost every week you have big ones, and it's one of the great stories, like I said, of 2019 and of last year as well, the rise of your team in a very short amount of time. So keep doing your thing, my man. Congratulations on all the success. Congrats to all your fighters as well, and keep working the corner like you're, because that in particular has me really impressed. I just love the way you speak to the fighters. It's really a breath of fresh air. So congrats on everything, and please tell my friend Chris Tapps that I say hello as well.
I will tell him that.
All right.
No problem, Ariel.
Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.